Guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today I wanted to do a damage test on Rosa. So I'm just really curious what she can do in a proper damage test. I did her character guide and her damage was actually looking pretty good for a support character. So what I did was I went ahead and recorded one. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised with how much damage she could do in an AO, 3-target fight, burst phase. So we can compare her to say like Yuffie, Rex, like those other damage tests that I've done. We can compare her to Astos. Nobody really compares to Astos, right? Astos we know is capable of 1 billion damage, which is pretty crazy. I eventually want to try to actually put out a video of him doing 1 billion, but I think mine was 850, which is pretty dang close, like pretty darn good. And that was without the Aerith BT effect. So that alone would have made up a lot more damage. So I just have to get a clean run in, but we'll definitely try to do that. But this here I thought was a very good Rosa run for showing off the damage, right? So we're doing our basic setup once again with this Bahamut fight. The couple of things we're trying to navigate is that we're trying to navigate not doing too much damage, not letting him take down his orb too much to auto kill us. It's kind of a balancing act while getting everything on. So my goal here was really to get BT effects on very early and get Selfie on to do launching. Now there is a trick I do with Selfie because I did do an attempt before this that kind of failed because I ended up, the timing just didn't work out right. I ended up doing too much damage. I couldn't quite get into it quick enough, right? So what's going to happen here is I believe, is it on this turn right here? I think we're going to do it. I'm pretty sure it's on this Garnet turn. We're going to do it right away. I'm pretty sure we're going to Selfie here. Yeah, we're going to go into Selfie. Now, here's the thing I did differently in this run. Normally what I've been doing is I've been putting on the launching and then let Selfie's turn come up again and then just basically ramp out into the next character. I decided to do my ramping here first, and then we're going to end with the launch, have her at turn 0, and then the next time she pops up, I just know I'm into the next character. The reasoning for this is because then I know Selfie's done and I don't like have to mess with her anymore, and I'm free to actually go into a force time a little bit earlier if I want to. Whereas before, if I use Selfie's LD right away to put on launching, then I know I'm kind of locked out of going into FR because I know that Selfie still needs to ramp to like get off the screen, and I don't want to waste force turns ramping, right? So I figured this setup is going to like kind of just allow me to be a little bit more free, because even though Selfie is still on the screen, essentially that's Garnet, because as soon as Selfie's turn hits, we know it's going to be Garnet there. So that was one adjustment that I made. Now with Rosa, the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted her BT effect up a little bit sooner. So in my previous run that I attempted, and this is typically what happens when I do failed damage test runs on here, is I do the BT effect too late and I do way too much damage because I'm like already in a force time, right? So I was really contemplating here, but I decided to BT effect first. And her BT effect lasts long enough that it's actually fine. For some characters, like you have to, their BT effect's only like 6 turns. So you have to do it like literally immediately before they go into burst time. So that's usually like you have to do the force first and then do it that way. But with Rosa, because her burst effect I think is like 8 turns, we're fine. Like we can burn a turn. Yeah, she's got an 8-turn burst phase, so we're actually fine. So now she can burn, her next turn is going to go into force time, because I did want to use her force for this because it's really good, dude. The echoes are so good with Aerith and Garnet, by the way. Like Garnet echoing with Rosa gets 100% for an attack echo, which is really good. And then Aerith gets 160 freaking percent. So Rosa, I don't know. Like I feel like she could be a little underrated because, I think most people represent her and say that she's good, but I feel like she's like almost a must-pull type character, especially if you're really lacking support. Like I feel like a support for me hasn't felt this good since Aerith. So I do think Rosa is such a good get. If you have the resources to get her and you are lacking support options, and I said this before, if you are a blue crystal room, she's a no-doubter, like you gotta get her. But I am extremely impressed with her as a support character because she does everything you want out of a support, and what we're going to see in this damage test is her damage is actually pretty good. Like really good damage for what she is, right? And she just has so much value in that flexible force time, because one way you can think of Rosa, it's almost like an upgraded Penelo in a way, because what makes Penelo still very good without Echo is that her force is so free and easy and like anybody can hit it. Well, that's what Rosa is, but she has echo. So she can actually like open and then still echo, and has like a lot better damage than Pinello now, because Pinello's damage has just been really power crept, right? So yeah, I kind of see Rosa as just like a direct upgrade to Pinello. Now Rosa doesn't have as many, what do you call it, charge buttons. Like Pinello's still gonna beat her on charge buttons, but yeah, I really impressed with Rosa. I think she's a great character. I really like don't. The thing with Rosa is like I don't even know that I can see like a negative in her kit. Like sure, re-raise isn't something you want to have to use, but like her like not even using re-raise doesn't really like, it doesn't add any negatives to her kit if you don't use the re-raise, right? And you're getting HP regen. So yeah, I just absolutely love everything about Rosa's kit. Like the only time she can be hindered is like bosses that are constantly like HP poisoning you, because her force condition, I think you got to be 100% HP. So if a boss is constantly taking you down and you can't be at 100% HP for her force gauge, those types of fights her force could struggle in a little bit. Not that you couldn't just use a different character's force for that, right? But yeah, it's just very nice when you can get these kind of echoes. It's just crazy. So yeah, here we go. I think we're about ready to go into Echo Town here. Actually, I think I already did, because we're already up to 625%. Yeah. So Aerith just finished doing her, what? She did 260% echoes. So that's what, 320% she got without using a force turn, just instantly, right? And then I'm like, sure, let's burn a turn to put the Seymour call on. And that's 76% on the Seymour call. That's going to put us down to turn 8, right? So then with Rosa, what I can do is I can just literally pray and get a huge gain on a pray, and then go into burst at turn 7, and we're golden. We're set up really nice for this damage test. So here we go. We're going to pray, and this pray is going to be really good gains. Watch how much gains we get on this pray here. Yeah, dude, 130%, right? So like, that's kind of like what Pinello and Hope can do. They can pop their force and they can just ramp themselves up like crazy. So she's even got that going for her. So yeah, now we're going to go burst phase, and we're just going to start hitting buttons, right? Now what I've kind of come to realize with Rosa, her aim is a really good button to press. It's a little bit better single target, right? So we aim here, but you see with 3 targets, we get most of the damages on the center enemy. So we got 25 million on the center enemy, but not many on the sides. Now we do get the follow-ups with, the thing is you got to add this Holy Blade to that. So this is always going to get you a little bit of AoE damage, which is nice. Yeah, like 6.7 mil AoE. So at like full gauge, her follow-up at the end is doing 7 mil, and you add that on what she's already doing. So the only reason I'm not like hitting aim every time here is because her other buttons do more damage overall when you count in like the AoE damage. So for AoE, you know, I want to hit LD, I do EX, I do the force. I kind of spread out all the buttons, because there you go, 22 million with 14 mil on the side. So she's putting out a lot of damage with all these buttons. And once again, not counting Cecil coming in at 7.5 mil. So she did like 30 mil and like 21 mil on the sides. So 3, 4, 5, 6, like roughly 75 million damage she's doing on that attack, if you add up all the damage together. Pretty, like, really good competitive damage. Dare I say Rosa is a DPS for, you know, for what she is as a support character. But I feel like she's kind of in line with, like, I'm getting those Yuffie vibes, right? Where I went into it not really expecting that great a damage out of Yuffie, and boy did she surprise me, right? Well, let's see what Rosa can get here. For me, you know, kind of the marker I look at is if you're doing in this type of damage test setting, if you're doing 500 million damage, I would say you're a competent damage dealer, right? Now, granted, that's half of what Astos can do, but like, Astos is literally doing double the damage of the best DPSs in the game, so that's a pretty good marker to go by. And if you think about it, this is pretty much the similar setup I did for Astos. The only thing I was missing for him is, once again, I did not have the Aerith BT effect up, so I was missing some damage, but I did 850 with Astos, who's just on another level from everybody else, and that's all he is damage, right? We're looking at a support character that literally does everything. Excellent force conditions, force charges, has, like, you know, a really nice echo, heals, batteries, like, just crazy. And then the thing is you still have, even though I don't like to use it, the re-raise is there. Like, how many times have you been at the end of a fight, like 2% left, and a boss catches you off guard? That re-raise will help you. Now, what I discovered during my live stream is that the auto kill attacks, they typically cleanse before they auto kill you, so re-raise won't work in those situations. But at any like surprise, like traditional Brave HP attacks, like she's gonna save you. And that can literally save a run, especially if it's a really tough boss and it's a long run. It's not something like you don't want to try to use the re-raise, but it's nice to know the comfort that it's there in case of an emergency situation, right? So here we go. We're going to end with the BT attack. What is Rosa actually doing here as a support character? What kind of damage? Dude, 504 million damage, dude. We broke a 500 million burst phase, and because I broke a 500 million burst phase, and we know that I am not as smart as other players out there, I'm sure Theologica maybe can push that to like 600 or something, but like, dude, for what Rosa is just putting out a 500 million burst phase, I am ridiculously impressed with that damage. She is a top tier support character, an absolute excellent monster of a character to have. I'm just such a huge fan of her, and I think she did a great job. I see her as a character I'm going to use a lot in this game. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Rosa. Let me know what you think of that 500 million damage burst phase for a support character. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.